Going, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully, you guys are having a beautiful morning. But yeah, let's get this started. Let me start the live trading here in the premium. There we go. Actually, wait, hold up. Let me kind of edit this real quick. Actually, no, that works. Okay, perfect. Yo, what's popping, guys? How's it going? How's it going? Hopefully, you guys are having a beautiful morning. Yeah, let's get this started. All right. Okay, so I'm not like coming to market open. We have a few things to read. I'm just a little bit worried that the market right now is kind of holding more of a doji candle. So there's not really much that we can really do yet. I'm really hoping that we can kind of sell off into this nearby low down here at 24,732, which is yesterday's one of yesterday's overnight lows on the 5-minute and 15-minute time frame. So what I'm pretty much what I'm looking to see is, since we don't have much to really work with around this area, the best thing that we can really do is, okay, look, we have two gaps here, right? We have one gap here and we have one gap here. This gap has a level of liquidity in it. So obviously this is going to be out of the picture. I'm not going to be looking for this. But what I'm really hoping to see, at least for now, obviously, yes, we can form a setup as we go on, maybe in the next few minutes, you know, all that good stuff. But what I personally want to see is us take out one of these two lows, preferably this one since it's closer. We take out this low here, we sweep it, and then we inverse this one. That could be the easiest trade that we can get for this morning. All right, but obviously, coming to market open today, it kind of seems like we have more of a doji candle, or kind of a candle that doesn't know what it wants to do yet. Keep in mind, the market opened up 3 minutes ago. So there's not much I can really do. Oh my goodness. I like people saying they can't hear. Okay, I'm gonna restart the stream real quick, guys. Hold on. Oh man, this Discord stuff is always happening. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Are you guys good? Everything good? Everything good? Yep. Let me know if you guys can hear me good now. Yes? Perfect. Okay, just making sure. But yeah, don't worry. Whatever I said wasn't really important. Pretty much all I was saying was I was hoping that we take out this low before we inverse the gap, but it's not really happening. So there's not much I can really do here. All right, we're inside of a huge 15-minute gap. I know, but I'm not gonna be using this 15-minute gap here as any sort of a trade today because I mean, dude, the gap is so big that I don't even know like what to work with here. So I'll kind of just use this gap more of a bias, more as, you know, for a bias. I don't want to inverse it or anything because I mean I'm not really interested in it. I mean maybe for an inverse, but nah, because we have a level of liquidity there, so it's gonna be a pain in the ass to get that going. But yeah. Anyways, guys, hold up. Let me close my door real quick. All right, I'm back. But yeah. So yeah, coming to market open today, guys. Honestly, not much. Wait, hold on. Let me check up on my YouTube here. Let me make sure that it's working good. What's up, YouTube, guys? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Let me get this stream started up real quick, guys. 1 second. There we go. 1 second. Let me put it out in this server as well. There we go. Perfect. Okay. But yeah, guys. Longs off the indicator. Yeah, the indicator is probably bullish off of this low here. In my opinion, this low is not a good low to work with for a bias. Yes, it is technically a London low. Yeah, it is a London low, but not for me. Not for me. I do not like this low. This low does not speak any volume, any interest. It's just a low created in the market before the market actually opened. Now, an actual low that we can use is this one. Preferably this one, because this was obviously the stronger one. It's a complete Asia low here, but this one can also work as it was a pullback before a big pump. All right, in this case, it's not really much. All right, but yeah. So yeah. Oh, by the way, wow. Wait. Let me, oof. We have a little bit of an SMT here. Well, when don't we have an SMT? Let's be honest here. It's the same case every single time. You know what I mean? But yeah, in this case, guys, obviously right now we are still inside of this 5-minute bearish rally gap. Unfortunately, there is not much I really want to trade off of this gap currently. I don't really like, first of all, I don't really like the momentum in the market. I mean, let's be honest, every single day this week, and in fact, every single day for the last month, each market open has been very, very rough. So obviously, I'm not really surprised with us not doing much off market open. That's been the case literally every open recently. All right. So obviously I want to be a little bit more careful coming into this open. Now, once again, for me, I personally don't feel like we have a bias yet in the market. There is nothing here that's really screaming at us to take a position, whether it's for bullish or bearish, because we haven't really taken out any major levels of liquidity that tells us a reaction in the market to really tell us what we want to, like, what we can expect. All right, obviously, once again, looking at market open today, we're already 2 5-minute candles in, and we're still stuck in the opening range. Well, to be honest, we just opened, so obviously we're still going to be near it. But yeah, now even if we did end up getting a sweep off this low here, getting long would be a little bit of a headache here because we have this high up here that can really cause a little bit of problems here, right? Because technically we sold off, we pulled back, we found this high, and then we sold off again. So even if we do end up taking longs off of this fair value gap inverse here, even if we had a bullish bias, I feel like this would have to be a price target at only 19 points. So I'm not gonna lie, we're kind of stuck in an area where we have 2 gaps that we can trade. They're just a little bit of a pain to kind of take because, for example, let's say we take out this high and we sell off. We're gonna sell off. We're gonna take out this level of liquidity before we take out the fair value gap, and this level of liquidity is right next to the entry of the fair value gap, which means that if we take this inverse, there's a 50-50 chance that we can just reverse and get stopped out. Same case goes here. In this case, we don't have a level of liquidity in the gap, but if we inverse it, just like how we're doing right now, and we go up 19 points and we take out this drawn liquidity, there's a good chance where the market can also reverse before we even hit any major point on the trade. All right. So there's, like I said, there's not much that I'm really loving off open today. Now we do have a gap up here, so maybe, no, this is not a gap. This is a third. If I remember correctly, it is either a 34-point candle or a 36-point candle. 34 points. Yeah, looks can be deceiving sometimes, guys. Yeah, I thought this was a gap. I got a little bit excited for a little bit, but no, this is not a good imbalance that we can take here. But yeah, and regardless, the market is still kind of getting these doji candles here, so there's not much I really want to see, or not much that really like that I really want here. Maybe ES has something. Once again, ES is not really moving as much. Yeah, no, maybe not. If anything, we can always wait for a better setup to kind of form here. Once again, you guys know this week, at least for myself, I feel like we've been doing very good this week. I mean, all of the trades I've alerted have played out. So I'm very good on the week. So I'm not gonna rush anything today, but I do want to give you guys a really good high quality setup before we obviously call it a day today. All right. Wait. Maybe oh, my throat got a little bit dry. Maybe the 15-minute. I actually didn't really pay attention to this. Is it a gap? Well, obviously it should be 60 points there. Okay, wait. I actually didn't see this. As I was marking on my pre-market levels. Let me see something. Because okay, if we pump here, which we're not really doing yet, I mean, we're it's all right. It's whatever. Whoa, what was that? Okay, I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen. Okay, if we pump and we hold above 852 and we go into this 15-minute inverse, there's not really much stopping us until the drawn liquidity at the high up here, the London high at 730. I'm gonna pretend like that dump and pump didn't happen. I really hope that Trump isn't doing what he did yesterday, where he's speaking on Iran news or war or whatever, because that would be a big pain. The 15-minute above looks amazing. It's there. I'm a little bit worried. I know this is an imbalance, but I don't know. I'll see how that reacts. Now obviously, I'm not gonna look at ES. I'm gonna keep saying the same thing. Obviously, ES is not doing anything. Blah 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 blah. SMT divergence, the same shit, the same case every single time. So yeah. But if we do end up pumping up here, which once again we're not really doing much coming into market open, we can probably take something off the 15-minute there. It probably won't look all that bad. Now let me mark out this low here just in case we do want to work with it. I don't know. The thing is, I don't want to be so quick to say anything because yeah, we do have a 15-minute gap above, but we don't have a bias. So it's like I'm not gonna tell you guys, oh yeah, I love longs when we're not even bullish nor bearish. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit, I don't know. I just hope we don't chop today because obviously I want to give you guys one more trade. Now, before I actually say anything, once again, guys, I'm sure you guys know this, but well, like a week or two ago, I actually ended up updating my. He just said something. No, don't tell me that. Let me check. Let me check, guys. One sec. Now, in the meantime, while I check this, what's it called? You guys know I updated my schedule. I am done trading Fridays. I didn't trade last Friday, and I said 2 Fridays ago that I was gonna be done trading Fridays, and instead using Fridays to actually use them to make videos. Now, by tomorrow, I should have the first YouTube video that I created last week, Friday. So tomorrow it should be posted either tomorrow or Saturday, depending on whenever my editor actually finishes the video, which is pretty much done almost. But tomorrow, since I'm not going to be trading, I am going to be starting to work on another video for you guys to post it next Friday. All right, guys. Now, the thing is, I want to go based off what you guys want to learn. So if you guys have any video ideas that maybe you want to learn, the video that I worked on last Friday that should be posted tomorrow, is on drawn liquidity. So maybe if you guys have any, questions on drawn liquidity or whatever, that video is gonna cover it all. It's gonna be about a 40-minute video, fully covering the whole concept behind drawn liquidity, how it works, why we use it, how to use it, and how to use it to know where the market is gonna go to before any big move happens. All right, so literally any question that you guys could possibly have on drawn liquidity, I answered it in that 40-minute video. All right, now I'm seeing a lot of you guys are saying, let me see, bias would be a good video. Well, drawn liquidity and bias are kind of the same thing, so we kind of already did that. Someone said risk management. We can also work on that as well. Honestly, I do like that video idea. I have been wanting to work on a risk management video for some time now, especially on Apex accounts. So if anything, I could probably do that video tomorrow, to be honest. Continuation model, I kind of have a video on that, but it's kind of outdated. So maybe next week I could do the continuation model. But I feel like a risk management video would be pretty good, especially on how to pass evals, how to consistently get payouts as well. So yeah, we could probably do it like that. So yeah. Anyways, let me check up on the news here. So let's see. So we do have a bit of war news going on still. Let me see. Iran's Khamenei, I think that's what it says. I don't know what that says. Khamenei says Iran will seek compensation from enemies or destroy their assets accordingly. Ooh, yikes. The most recent news that came out, which is probably why we're dumping right now. I mean, we started dumping. Let me see. We have 1 minute candle, 2, 3, 4. So about 3 to 4 minutes ago. Okay, so I'm not really seeing any news that came out 3 or 4 minutes ago that really caused the markets to really sell off here. Well, to be honest, we are selling off pretty nice here, to be honest. But there's no war news going on here. It says here, Khamenei, I think that's what it says. I could be wrong there. It says here, studies have been made of opening other fronts. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not really very political, so I don't know what that means, to be honest. Other fronts will be activated if war persists. What the hell is a front? I don't know. That sounds like a big deal. So I'm assuming that's going to bring some volume to the markets. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on to the up-to-date news. This happened about 12 minutes ago. So yeah, pretty much what it says here, studies have been made of opening other fronts. And the next news is other fronts will be activated if war persists, which I don't know why they're saying that, because Trump did say that war is going to end soon. So you have one person saying one thing and the other person saying another thing. Threat of drone strikes to the West Coast. Oh, okay, that's for oil. But yeah, okay, anyways. So we're dumping down here a little bit. And actually, once again, guys, I'm not going to be using this inverse here. Once again, I don't really feel too comfortable with it, especially while there's a level of liquidity here. So I'm going to delete this gap. I'm not going to use it. It's not in my interest. What I'd rather do is see how we react off this level of liquidity here. See what the market wants to do. We do have some gaps above this 5 minute and this 5 minute up here. So with whatever happens, we can always use this as more of a retracement if we have to, or an inverse if the market wants to reverse. Whatever the case may be, we can always use these gaps. But once again, the whole main reason as to why I'm not using this gap here is mainly because, yes, it's a perfect gap. I mean, if you measure from top to bottom, it is beautiful. It is a 57-point gap. We are inversing it. We're selling. It looks good. The only reason I refuse to take these type of trades is because when we have a level of liquidity right at our entry, it can cause very big risk behind the trade. In terms of, you get the inverse, we dump a little bit lower, it looks like a good trade, and then shortly after, the market has a pullback, starts holding above the level of liquidity, 1 second ago, it looked very good for shorts. And the next second, it's holding bullish from a pullback, right? And what does that cause? Well, that lowers your probability behind having a winning trade. So if you guys have noticed, these last few days, I've actually been completely avoiding these type of setups. Although, yes, I would love to inverse some with all the selling pressure. It just doesn't really make sense to me because it just adds so much more unnecessary stress and risk behind this trade for no reason. All right, so what I'd rather do is just wait for a new setup to form around this area, work with the bias based off the level of liquidity, whether we swept it or not, and then we work with a continuation model from this case here. All right, so yeah, once again, as you can see here, yeah, the setup played out. Did I want to take it? Not really. All right, and that's totally fine because we can just always wait for a new one to form right down here. All right. But yeah, let's go ahead and see how this 5 minute ends up closing. Remember, we just finished taking out some major levels of liquidity. If you look at the higher time frame, we took out not only this low here at 732, but we also took out a low, which is the Asia low, at 695. So some interesting things can start happening very soon. All right, guys. Now, but in this case, I'm probably just gonna wait for the 5 minute to go ahead and close. If anything, we can always work with a continuation model. But yeah. But yeah, oh, the volume's spiking a little bit here, so it does seem like we do have a bit of news coming out. It seems like, because yeah, that spike was pretty interesting. But yeah, once again, guys, now that we took out the main low, which is the Asia low from last night, as you guys can see here, last night pretty much what ended up happening is on Monday we pumped up. Last night we dumped down. We found this low, which is the absolute bottom nearby, and we took it out, which is why we're trying to reverse here. All right, so obviously if the market wants to reverse, we can always work with more of a bullish bias from the most recent level of liquidity taken out. All right, guys. So we could probably work with the D-Wall sweep from here into something up here, maybe off an inverse here, into the drawn liquidity up here, and into the fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame as well. All right. Obviously, it all depends on how buyers want to step in, how the volume comes in, and how the momentum is looking. All right. But this looks like a good idea forming. Obviously, we still need a little bit more confirmation rather than just a little pump up here. All right, obviously, we need a nice green candle, buying pressure, enough buying pressure to inverse this 5 minute, and then we take longs. All right, once again, guys, the whole reason why I'm looking for longs in this case is mainly because obviously we're working with more of a bullish bias from this Asia low drawn liquidity from last night. All right, obviously right now we just need a little bit more of a good reaction. On the 1 minute, it looks good, right? Like a really good reaction. But it's not enough yet for us to want to take this inverse. Or maybe it is. I mean, we kind of need more of like a 70-ish point pump. 67 point pump. But yeah. And it seems like the indicator actually caught a trade over here on ES for shorts. So not bad. But yeah, for me, I feel like the trade that I would want to take would be more of a 5 minute gap here. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad, especially with ES having a very positive reaction. Obviously, we can see the difference here, right? ES has, NQ has more sellers. ES has a little bit more buyers, or maybe not as many sellers, which hints at more buyers. All right. But what we can look at is if the market pumps here, we could probably look at something like this. Wouldn't be too bad. Let me see what we can work with. And we are getting some very good buying pressure off that Asia low, which gives me a lot of confidence behind these longs if we do end up getting them. Now, since volume is a little bit active today, I'll probably have to use more of a 50-point stop loss with a light size. I'm planning on trading maybe like 5 contracts today. Nothing crazy. Just something to make a bit more money if the trade works out to maybe end the week. But not add too much risk on my P&L for the week as well. For those that don't know, I'm currently up about $2,000, literally exactly $2,000 per account on the week. So I'm about to request a payout soon, actually. So I don't want to be risking too much, especially on this trade when we know that we have war news happening here and there. All right. But yeah, this setup does not look bad, especially with the very strong and positive reaction that we're getting from this Asia low here. Not a bad reaction that we can look forward to. So yeah, let's see what we can catch here. But yeah. Now there, I was gonna say there is a chance where we can retrace into the gap in which we did right there and reject back down. As much as I would love to take maybe a continuation model, we kind of can't. Because remember, guys, we're bullish. Even if we reject off a bearish rally gap, we're still bullish as long as we hold above 695. In order for us to be bearish and have a working continuation model, we would need price to hold below 695. And the problem is that let me see something. We would need a 71-point rejection from this gap here to get shorts, which wouldn't make sense with the risk to reward, because then we would have to put our stop loss up here for a 70-point stop loss. So if that's going to be the case, I'd rather just skip out on it and maybe just wait for the market to reverse, or maybe form a setup right down here with a closer setup to a closer price target. Because here it just wouldn't make sense. Because imagine, right? Imagine we take shorts like this and we put our stop loss here and then our price target is down here. It just wouldn't make too much sense. You know what I mean? It's just so much unnecessary stuff, you know? So if we're going to reject, I mean, that's completely fine. It seems like it was just a rejection off the 5-minute model, fair value gap model. But it's not in my interest to really take shorts off that rejection just because it's just too far in range. All right. So I don't know. I mean, is there anything else that we can really take here? I mean, we are inversing the 15-minute, the huge 15-minute gap here. But it's not really in my best interest, especially while we have a level of liquidity there that we tried sweeping. Not really my interest there. The selling does look really strong, though. I can't lie. I don't know. Maybe I consider that 15-minute inverse. Pretty much for the people confused, I'm talking about this inverse here. The thing is, it's such a big gap, so I don't know if it's gonna get respected as much. You know, like yeah, we can go lower, but is it worth it? Not really, especially while we have a level of liquidity there. Maybe sellers can get a little bit weak around this area and then reverse it. That's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about. So maybe I just skip out on this and just wait for a better setup. I'm just trying to find the highest quality setup that I can get here without any hesitation. You know? Yeah, that rejection was actually very strong. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. A fat green to red. Very, very nice green to red candle there. As you guys see, 100 points up, 100 points down. Just not enough for me to enter anything, because I'm not really liking the setups here. This gap is way too big, so I don't know if it's going to get respected. And then this gap projection here is just too far out. So the risk to reward just wouldn't be good at all. So you get a good trade there. So I'll see what I can work with down here maybe. Okay, it seems like we're trying to sell off, but sellers don't look fully strong down here. It's like buyers are trying to step in here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get another DOL sweep here. The only thing is where maybe, I don't want to say the 1 minute, but probably the 1 minute has a gap there, especially with that sell-off. Nah, it doesn't. Because I also don't want to wait for the market to pump up 100 and something points for an entry. 130 points for one entry. That's way too much when we can get an entry somewhere down here instead. So I mean, the best case that we can do here, maybe if we want to get like an earlier entry without having to wait for the market to pump up 130 points, is maybe wait for one more good sell-off, create a 40-point imbalance around this new level of liquidity down here at 640, and then we maybe inverse it into the liquidity up here. Maybe that could be pretty ideal, because here it's a little bit hard to get anything. And yeah, it's probably easy to say that the market is going to continue selling off with all the selling pressure, but you can never be so sure, especially with pretty mid setups. There's just not much I can really take here. I'll probably just, you know, I'm just going to wait for the 640 level to get taken out and hope that we form a setup here to maybe inverse it. Once again, the market has already sold off quite a bit, so maybe shorts won't be the case today. I just don't want to be chasing it. But yeah, let's wait for 640 to get taken out, see how that goes, and maybe we can get something new, because we are selling off, so getting a big candle shouldn't be an issue. We already have 33 points, and the candle closes in 4 minutes. We took out the 640 level, which is pretty expected with all the selling pressure. The thing is what can we do here? Because we already have 40 points. With this volume, I'm kind of expecting a little bit more, but 40 points should be good enough, because now what we could do is, now that we have a new gap here, we don't have to worry about trading this one. We could trade into it, like as a price target. But the thing is first of all, can we hold it now that we took out 640? Do we want to reverse instantly? Maybe do we want to go a little bit lower? Do we want to form the gap? There's a million questions that we have to be asking ourselves in this case, when we're trading, when we're trying to form a setup down here. And it can be a little bit tricky because obviously sellers are in just full control here. Now I am seeing some inverses here on ES that we can possibly take on the 15-minute if we hold below this level. Does NQ have those levels? I don't think so. Yeah, no, I mean, it has it all the way down here, all the way at the 400s. We're currently trading at 650. So that's going to be out of the picture. Even if we do inverses somehow, some way today, obviously we're going to be so oversold that it's just not going to be worth taking. So what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Let me try to find something. I want to say our best bet would be just create a 5-minute gap here, but it seems like the market is trying its hardest to sweep the liquidity at 640. So it's going to be really, plus this candle is going to close in 2 minutes. So the chance of us selling all the way back down is very slim. It could happen, but it's slim. But the thing is, if we don't form a gap here, what the problem could be is if we do end up sweeping and going back up, we're going to have to wait for a full-on reversal and pump all the way into this inverse for 150 points for an entry, which is not something I'm trying to do. But one thing that we can do is maybe if we do end up sweeping this level, what we could do is maybe form a bullish fair value gap here. Since the bias is already bullish, in this case, if we're holding above 640, what we could do is maybe if we have a bullish bias, we can create a bullish fair value gap here, retrace into this gap, and then go up for longs. That can work. Instead of having to wait for the full-on reversal all the way up here to then get like a 40-point price target. Not even 37 points. You know, it's not really too worth it. I would take it, but, you know, it's not really anything crazy there. So, yeah, I want to see what maybe the 15-minute? No. We can't do the 15-minute. Yeah, we're kind of stuck in a little bit of a situation here because, yeah, we have good movement and we have a trend in the market and maybe we form a new bias soon. It's just we don't really have much to really take here yet. So we definitely have to wait for something to form here. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely very interesting. But yeah, I definitely want to see something like this mainly. I mean, who knows? We still have 40 seconds left into this candle, so who knows? Maybe we somehow find a way to dump below 640, and if we find a way to dump below 640, we can create a gap here, and then if we hold it back up, we can turn bullish into a bearish inverse. But the thing is, we have 28 seconds left. This candle is more of like a hammer candle, which is a pretty bullish candle for those that don't know. It's not a full selling candle, so we definitely can't create a gap there. So where can we enter from? That's the real question. Because we can't really use any 1 minute gaps. As much as I hate the 1 minute, you know, sometimes I am open to taking it. But even if we do have to take the 1 minute, we don't have anything there. So it's a little bit complicated. To be honest, the best thing we could do here is just have this candle pump it up. Okay, that's a 10 a.m. candle, so that's going to be the spike. It's a macro time. That's pretty normal. But what we could do here is maybe have this candle pump up, let's say, to like the 700s, right? We hold this candle up here, and then we simply retrace into this fair value gap, and then we bounce, and then we could take longs. This would be the best setup that we can get. So this candle here would have to go into the 700s. Like, okay, there it is, right? And the reason I'm saying 700s exactly, guys, I'm not some genie that knows everything. No. The reason I'm saying that I want to see 700s is because, check this out, guys. Check this out, right? The market is selling off, right? We're kind of oversold. We took out a bunch of levels of liquidity to the downside. So the lower that we go, the less chance of us going lower is, if that makes sense, because we're taking out so many objectives already, which means that sellers are losing their interest as time goes on. So what I'm expecting soon of any of these levels of liquidity that I have on my chart is for buyers to start stepping in. Why? Because once again, sellers already did their job. They took out their liquidity. They took out their objectives. All right. And if sellers took out their objectives, there's a good chance that the more levels of liquidity that we take out, the less interest sellers are going to have. And the less interest that sellers are going to have, the more interest that buyers are going to have. All right. But the thing is, if buyers gain interest here, where are we going to enter longs? From nowhere. All right. So the reason I'm telling you guys, I want to see 710 or this candle hold by 710 is because since we're holding above 640, this means that our bias is bullish. Correct? Correct. Right? So if we measure this candle from top to bottom, in order for us to have a bullish fair value gap form or a bullish imbalance, we need at least a 40-point candle. So if you measure this candle from top to bottom, from bottom down here, top, 40 points would be around the 690 to 700 range. That's why I told you guys I want to see buyers step in into the 700 range so we can form a good enough of an imbalance here so we can close this candle here, right? Then create a fair value gap on the next 5-minute candle, then retrace into this fair value gap and then bounce. We take longs and then we target these levels of liquidity above. This would be a pretty good game plan. All right. So once again, I'm not a genie. I didn't know that the market was going to pump into the 700s or anything. The reason I'm saying 700s is mainly because that's where the gap would form. All right, guys. Because yeah, I kind of did say, oh yeah, guys, like we should see 700s here for a gap, and then we saw 700s. I didn't know that. That's kind of like a little bit of a coincidence. All right, but this is where we could form a very good setup because now if you look at the market, we have a bullish bias, very strong buying pressure, and we have a bullish imbalance, which is about way more than 70 points. I mean, way more than 40 points. All right, so two things can happen. All right, two things can happen. All right, we either retrace into the gap and bounce with the bullish bias, or we have so much buying pressure, which I don't think is going to happen, but it could. We have so much buying pressure that we pump up into this inverse, and we can also take longs off here. The only problem is here we're going to be taking it off an inverse, so a pullback can happen, and we can see a little bit of drawdown on the trade, which is pretty normal with inverses. All right, so yeah, right now it's pretty much give the market a little bit of time to really form its setup here. Give it about six more minutes to really form the setup. And then that should be able to close this gap here in 2 minutes, and then the 5-minute candle should be able to close the fair value gap, and then the next 5-minute candle we should be able to retrace into the gap and then bounce up for the longs. All right, so that's kind of what we want to see there. But yeah, remember guys, our bias will remain bullish as long as we hold above 640. It doesn't matter if we reject off a fair value gap. It doesn't matter if we reject off anything. The bias will remain bullish, and we're going to remain looking for longs as long as price is able to hold above this level of liquidity. All right. That is what we're basing our bias from currently. All right. Now, since we're pumping up, obviously, like I said, if we don't end up getting a retracement because the buying pressure seems to be way too strong, we can always just look for longs here. All right. And then we can just target these highs up here just like that. And then maybe have like a 50-point price target just like that. All right. Something like that would be pretty ideal. Now, in this case, I don't know. I would say I kind of prefer more of a continuation model, just so we get, because the thing is, in this case, guys, the reason I want a retracement in the market before we enter longs is because if we end up, hold on. Sorry. If we end up bouncing up, what can happen is if we end up getting the inverse here, the market has already pumped up over 166 points from the absolute low that we saw not even 10 minutes ago, right? So obviously, when the market pumps up that hard, it's pretty common to have a pretty nice pullback in the market. So, hold on. So I don't want to be entering longs here and risk getting pulled back on before we go even higher off that inverse. So I would prefer is that we create a gap here, which I'm hoping that we can hold. Hopefully this candle doesn't really sell off too much. But what we can do is create a fair value gap here, get the pullback here, we bounce. We don't have to worry about another pullback because we entered off the pullback. And then we go into here and then we just target this. So yeah, now the only thing is we have to wait for this 5-minute candle to close. But we also have to hope that this candle does not sell off too much to then close the gap, because then we're really screwed. Because then we're not going to have a setup to take here. All right, because obviously the gap is gone. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's two entries. Either the inverse, which will be the riskier one, or a continuation model, which would be the safer one. Right? Because obviously we'll be entering off a pullback in the market. All right, so we'll see. Like I said, we'll stay looking for longs, and we will. Bro, my throat keeps getting dry for some reason. But yeah, we can or we will remain bullish and looking for longs as long as price is able to hold above this level of liquidity right over here at 640. All right, why is it a level of liquidity? Well, obviously the market was in a bullish trend here. The market pulled back, found this low, bounced up, pulled back, found this low, bounced up even harder. All right, so obviously this and this are some pretty nice levels of liquidity. All right. So that's why I'm basing my bullish bias from a sweep from here. The only thing is now can we find an entry? Now, if we do end up finding an entry here off the longs, we could maybe target the level of liquidity here. So if anything, let's say, for example, right? So we retrace into the fair value gap. Let's say we retrace into the midpoint. We would need about a 30 to 40 point bounce. So maybe like we would have to enter longs maybe around here, right? And then our price target, please be good, please be good, please be good, please be good. About 40 points, actually, not bad. So yeah, we can have ourselves pretty much like a 1-to-1 risk reward price target. That's if we get like an exact midpoint bounce there. Now, first of all, let's actually see if we can even hold this gap in the first place, because we are selling off a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. Now, this candle is only left with pretty much 3 minutes left. We're slowly filling the gap, but we need this space to remain active. So if we ever retrace into it and then we bounce, we can always base our longs off this bounce here. But it really depends. Also, we can run a risk of the market chopping in this area, because remember, we've already sold off quite a bit since market open. Right, the market opened where, like right here, we have sold off already about 200 points. So yeah, after like a big sell off like that, there is a chance where the market can chop for a little bit and then it resumes its movement. But for now, I mean, we're left with this gap for now. This candle closes in 2 minutes, so I guess we'll just wait it out. But yeah. Anyways, let's see if we can afford a retracement here. I would really hope we do. Because those longs would look really nice, especially off a nice pullback, nice healthy pullback here before the big push up. You know, that'll be amazing after a dual sweep. That'll be very, very nice. So we can only hope that. Remember, this gap is already pretty small, so we would need an exact bounce from this gap to get a good trade there. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. My hopes are a little bit low with this gap. In my opinion, I feel like this gap is too small and there's too much volume, so it's not gonna be the cleanest bounce. So maybe we probably see something like this. I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe like something like this, where we kind of inverse the gap and then we go up. It happens a lot. Because remember, with these small gaps, the smaller the gap, the more precise you need the bounce to be. Because with a big gap, it's pretty easy. You go into the gap, you sell off, you pump, you sell off, you pump, whatever, but you're still in the gap. In this case, since this gap is so tiny, you need an exact retracement with an exact bounce. So you know, usually the smaller the gaps get with continuation models, the lower my hopes get with the setup, because it just raises the chances in the gap just getting filled and invalidated before the actual move happens. But we'll see. I mean, this candle's about to close right now in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Fair value upgraded, which is perfect, right? The only issue is we can't inverse this because we're bullish as long as we hold above 640. And we also need an exact bounce here for a perfect entry. So we need the market to just slightly sell off into the retracement and then pump like crazy. Because if not, then we can't get it. And it seems like he has one tire, which is a good sign, right? If they want to follow each other. But let's see. We need a slight retracement, just a very, 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 very tiny retracement, right? I mean, well, that's technically a retracement, but obviously a retracement into the gap. All right, we get that retracement to the gap. We get a 40-point bounce. We enter, and then we target these highs up here, these 4 highs. But we need a little retracement. We can't inverse this gap here, because if not, then obviously it's going to be ruined. Okay, let's see what we can get here. So far, it's kind of holding still as more of a doji candle. Yeah, we need like a very precise retracement. Like literally how we have this candle here, we just need a little sell, one little seller here, and that's it. Even if we retrace into this white line here, that's still also pretty fine. And we also have to hope that buyers don't step in all the way, instantly, because remember, we need the retracement. We hopefully we don't just pump up instantly with no retracement on the gap. We need that retracement. I mean, worst case, if we do end up pumping up, we could just wait for this to get inversed. Is not going to be very ideal because we're going to be entering at the top and not the bottom. We want to be entering at the bottom so we get the most points possible. And it seems like Trump is technically still speaking a little bit. We just got news from Trump about 3 minutes ago saying nothing crazy, but it says here Trump is concerned about raising energy prices during this short-term period. That's the most recent Trump news that I'm seeing. So I don't think that moves the markets all that much, but it's definitely something. But yeah, so far we're kind of bouncing here. I mean, that's a good sign, obviously, but unfortunately we missed the retracement by literally 2 points. I mean, once again, guys, if we pump, it's not a big deal. We can always just go to the plan B setup. Like, look, we can label this plan A entry and then plan B entry. I mean, this will be our plan B. Worst case, worst comes to worst, we don't get a retracement. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. We can always just enter off this 5-minute here. We don't have a 50-minute messing us up, right? Okay, yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, so we can always just use this as a plan B setup. So it'll be fine if we pump up. It's not really a big deal. As long I just don't want us entering off an inverse and the market just pulls back on us. You know what I mean? So that's why I want to enter off a pullback so we don't have to worry about another pullback and then we pump up. You know what I mean? Now remember, just because we pumped up here does not mean that the setup is not going to be important anymore. Remember, this setup is going to be remain valid as long as we don't take out this liquidity at 767. All right. If we take that out, then the setup can kind of become a little bit of an issue because if we take out this level of liquidity here and we go back down, then we might inverse the setup before even, bouncing up. Not that I would really want to be bearish off this high here. I mean, is it really? Okay, yeah. On the 1 minute, it is a pretty good level of liquidity. So yeah, if we take out this high here, then it can definitely become a little bit of an issue for the DOL sweep. But yeah, let's see if we can retrace back into this. I mean, we're getting a little bit of a rejection here. Nothing crazy, but definitely something. So who knows? Maybe the market wants to go down into this gap before we go back up. Maybe. Let's see. I mean, buyers are stepping back in. Once again, guys, I mean, whatever happens here, whether we get the retracement or not, we're going to have an entry into longs. I don't know. I will enter off this. I'm not saying that I don't like the setup. I'm just a little bit worried that if the market is already going to be pumped from the absolute bottom, the market is already going to be pumping up over 160 points. So I'm a little bit worried with a slight retracement in that trade. So if anything, we're gonna have to use a bigger stop loss here than we would have here, which is fine. I mean, just size lighter. It's common sense. But the thing is, we don't know how big that pullback is gonna be, or that retracement. Because obviously the market's gonna be not overbought, but obviously we're gonna have some buying pressure there where sellers are gonna try to step in here. There's no denying that. Unless we get in with some random pump in the market, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. But for now, with this price action, we're definitely gonna get a pullback up here. There's no way we don't. So we're probably just gonna have to enter there and just pray that we don't, get too much of a pullback into the 50 points. I mean, how many points are we averaging per candle right now? About 40, right? 35. I'm assuming 45, 50. So yeah, about like 40 points per candle on average. So, I feel like this is a pretty fair stop loss, unless Trump says something, which God forbid,
Whenever you get the chance.
Okay, we're actually selling off a little bit. So who knows? Maybe we do end up getting the retracement. I just hope that we don't. The only problem is with this selling pressure that we're getting here, it's too much. I feel like we're not going to retrace off this gap. I mean, once again, it's not based off feeling. That's just what I think. You know, maybe I'm just doubting the setup a little bit because I'm seeing so much selling pressure. But once again, pretty much what I'm trying to say is we would need a very precise retracement, like a very exact retracement with a bounce to get the setup to work out in our favor. You know, so I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this holds. But I don't know. I don't really have too much of a good confidence with, you know, all this selling pressure to the point where imagine we sell off all the way down like this to then bounce exactly from here. It can happen, but you know, maybe I'm just being a little bit doubtful. You know, because I really want to get longs. I really, really do want to get longs because obviously I'm very, very bullish and we have room for higher. I mean, we haven't taken out any levels of liquidity all day today to the upside. So we definitely have room for higher while we have taken out every level of liquidity to the downside today. Right. So that, you know, a bullish buy definitely does make a lot of sense, especially with the reaction that we're getting here. It's just I just don't want to miss out on this setup here just because, you know, sellers step in a little bit too much. You know, they get a little bit too, they overdo it a little bit too much, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. We're getting close, very close to the retracement here. So I just hope that the selling slows down a little bit here to the point where we don't inverse this this fair value gap and then we bounce from it and then we just take longs. Okay, let's see. We're slowly retracing into this gap. Hopefully the selling just slowly dies down. Okay, let's see. Are we gonna hit the gap? Okay, we are officially inside of the fair value gap. So now we just have to hope and pray that buyers step in. Because once again, it's a small gap. So if we even have a slight amount of selling pressure, then I mean, well, to be honest, if we don't hold this gap, we're probably gonna create a gap here. So we can always just wait maybe for an inverse here. It's the same thing. But you know, it's always good to just maybe enter off a retracement. All right, but let's hope and pray that buyers step in around this area, because if not, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for a long entry if the bias remains bullish above 640. All right, but yeah, we need buyers to be stepping in literally right now, because if not, I mean, once again, if this gap doesn't end up holding, it's not a big deal because we are creating literally another gap here. So if anything, if we don't retrace off this gap, we can just inverse this gap here. It's the same thing, to be honest. So it's literally the same entry. So actually, I'm not as worried anymore, because if anything, we can, once again, we can inverse this gap. I actually don't really care anymore. I mean, we're still in the gap, so maybe we bounce. Maybe off the bottom. Maybe, who knows, right? But what we could do here is, if we don't hold this gap here, we can create a gap here, which is a 70-point candle, right? Yeah, 70-point candle. We can create this gap here, create another 5-minute candle here, and if we get enough buying pressure, we can just enter longs here. It's the same entry, literally the same exact entry, and the same gap. So I'm actually not too worried now. It's obviously going to take a little bit more time, like five more minutes, maybe 5 to 10 more minutes to get the entry. But that can potentially work. Now, remember, guys, we're still in the gap. Yes, we filled the gap, but we can still bounce off of it because we're at the bottom. So, I mean, shit, if we bounce here, we could still look for longs. The question is do we hold it? Because we have a gap here now. It is a small gap, so we do have to hold it with a little bit more caution here, but let's see. Now, since we slightly inverse this gap, and if we still bounce up here, I would still consider a fair value gap bounce. Oh, never mind. Not anymore. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we have completely inversed the gap. So this entry is kind of out of the picture. Remember, we're still bullish as long as we hold above 640. We just have to look for a new entry. And in my opinion, the new entry would probably have to be off this inverse here, which once again, guys, it is literally the same exact entry. Some way, somehow we created it. I don't know how, but it was done. Now, let's just hope that we don't fill this gap in the next 4 minutes. All right, because then we're really screwed. Then we're really going to have to wait for this inverse up here. But yeah, because if anything, what we could do is take this inverse and just target these highs up here. Just like that. It'll be a pretty good price because it'll be like 50 points. Yeah, literally 50 points exactly. So that actually wouldn't be so bad. We just need to hold this gap first. So we'll see. But yeah, as long as we hold above 640, I am bullish. Now, if we start heading down into 640 and holding below it, then, you know, game plans may change. All right, because obviously we're going to have to be working with more of a bearish bias as the market holds below its level of liquidity and it heads towards its next one. All right, so we're going to have to see here. We're definitely going to have to see here. But hey, as long as we're able to hold this gap here, and if the next candle is a buying candle, we could probably look to inverse it and target these highs up here. Right? Because remember, guys, yes, technically we're pulling back and the selling pressure. Like, but David, why are you bullish? We're selling off. Remember, guys, we're technically still bullish. Our bias remains bullish, and we will only be bearish if this candle or whichever candle breaks below this previous low here. Because what's going on is currently, if we end up bouncing here, what the market is doing is it's creating a bullish trend by creating a higher low. All right, so once again, the market sells off, makes the main low, pumps up, dumps down, creates a higher low, pumps up, creates a higher high, dumps down, creates a higher low, and so on. That's how a bullish trend is created. More like this. Right, so we could technically be in this area right here where the market sold off, found this low, pumped up, sold off, found a new low, which is what's happening here, and then pumps up even harder, which is where we want to be entering here. The only problem is that we need to hold this gap here, because if not, we can't enter. I mean, maybe after 1 minute, if worst case, right? Worst case, nope. Maybe 15 minute, nope. Okay, yeah, it's gonna have to be after 5 minutes. But yeah, hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying, right? So once again, we're bullish as long as we hold above 640. We created a low and a higher low. How does the bullish trend go? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. What do we have here? The market sold off. It happened here. Market sold off, took out the level of liquidity, bounced up. It happened here, right? Market sold off, took out the level of liquidity, bounced up, pulled back down, found a higher low from the previous low, found the higher low, the previous low. We get a bounce here to create a higher high, and we take the entry here as we're approaching the higher high. All right, and the higher high is going to be our price target. That's why I want to enter longs here off this inverse. The only thing is we have 2 minutes left into this candle. I'm praying that we can hold this a little bit more, for a little bit longer, right there next to the inverse, so we can close out this gap in any given second. We just have to trust the gap that it can hold. All right, so that's pretty much what I'm looking for right now, guys. We just have to hope and pray that we hold this, because now we're really screwed. We're definitely gonna have to wait a long time to get this inverse up here, because that's gonna be the only setup that we can really take. So yeah, we could probably look for something like, let me start making the game plan. And if I think we could put our stop loss, oh, that would actually be a perfect stop loss at 640. So if we don't end up holding this trade here and we get stopped out, our bias will just turn bearish. So it'll be like the trader was completely wrong. We don't have to worry about a re-entry or anything. All right, but we just have to worry about, obviously, getting enough of a buying pressure so we can actually inverse this fair value gap. So the trade can look somewhat like this, maybe. Actually, very nice setup. I really do like it. We just need that buying pressure to really hold in, because if not, then we can't take it, and then we're gonna have to wait a very long time to get another trade, because there's no more nearby setups. Yeah, let's see. This candle closes in 30 seconds. We're right there to inverse the gap, so I'm hoping that we don't inverse it yet. But I do hope that we inverse it in the next gap and we pump up from there, because then this will just be creating the higher high, which will be our price target if we do get that buying pressure. All right, let's see what we get here. Okay, so there's the buying pressure. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Okay, hold on. We're pumping up too fast. Hold on, NQ. Give it a second. Hold your horses. Hold up. All right, guys, we need a very strongly consistent buying candle, not an instant pump. You know what I mean? But that was a very nice buying candle. Obviously, not enough for me to enter just yet, but if we do end up going back above into it, then I'll for sure look for a nice entry there. Just that move happened too fast, and obviously I'm looking for price to hold above the gap with some time, so we can actually look for a consistent entry, so we don't have to worry about maybe like a pullback and then we go back down. All right, so if we can continue to go back up and hold above the gap, then I'll consider looking for an entry. But yeah, that was a pump that we wanted to see. So thankfully, let's thank NQ for not doing this pump here and actually did it literally as the candle opened, because now we would have missed out on this setup here. But yeah, guys, remember, I'm not in yet, but I am definitely looking for an entry very soon. All right, guys, if we can hold above the gap. All right, so yeah, once again, I am not in yet. I repeat. But I am definitely looking for an entry. I just hope that this candle is able to obviously hold above this inverse for some time, so we actually know that buyers are in control and they want higher. Because pretty much what happened here, it was just kind of like an impulse, and it didn't really tell us that buyers are consistent. It was just a little pump. All right, so we need to make sure that we're able to hold above the gap for a bit of amount of time, a few seconds at best. and obviously break past some previous candle highs to show us that buyers are in control, and then we take longs. All right, so for now, nothing yet. Yes, we have the entry, but we're not in yet. We need to make sure we hold above it. All right, so don't rush it yet. Don't rush it yet. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. And hopefully this holds because obviously I really don't want to catch longs here. But yeah, let me see what ES is doing. Not much, to be honest. Actually, ES actually ended up projecting off the gap itself. Right there. But yeah, give this setup a bit more time, guys. Remember, we're still not in yet. We're just waiting for a hold above this candle high here so we can actually go ahead and enter. All right. And if we do end up selling off, which obviously is always a risk, and we don't end up entering, we can always just flip our buys back to bearish below 640. The only problem is we won't have any setup to take at all. So it's probably gonna have to be like if we hold below 640, it's gonna have to be a PM session type of trade today. Again, it's been that case every day, so we're not really surprised. But yeah, so far nothing, guys. Like I said, I'll let you guys know once I do enter. Hopefully we enter because I really do want to catch longs here, but so far nothing yet. So far nothing yet. Hopefully we just don't full on just dump here because once again, I really do want to catch longs here. I mean, we've been waiting literally an hour for this. And remember, guys, now that we inverse this rally gap, we either have to get the entry in this candle or the next one. If we don't get that entry in either of these two candles, we can't enter this trade. We're gonna have to wait for like a new setup and a new buys. All right. Or if we obviously hold below 640, then we also can't take that setup. Or this setup. Yeah, hopefully the only thing we can really pray for here is the final thing, which is obviously buyers gain control, flip the candle from red to green, and then we enter. Because if not, then we can't really take the setup at all. See if buyers can step in soon. We still have 1 minute left into this candle. At least close it as a doji and maybe we inverse in the next candle. That can work. But if this gap here takes more than 2 candles to inverse, then I'm just not, I can't take it. And obviously, if we also hold below 640, then this setup might have to be out of the picture. Which it seems like it's what's happening here. So if anything, yeah, it might have to be more of a PM session type of trade today. Unless we form something on the way down in like the next few seconds. But I don't really think it's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to give this candle, once again, this candle and the next candle. If we don't inverse it by the next candle, I'm not taking the setup. I'm not open to it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, we're going to skip out on this setup then, guys. We did get the inverse. Obviously, it literally held for like 0.1 seconds, so obviously not enough for us to enter. We're continuing to dump down here. So obviously, since we are holding below 640 now, our bias is going to flip from bullish to bearish as long as we're able to hold below 640. Now, on the bright side, we are creating we are creating another fair value gap here. Obviously, the volumes are reactive today. We're getting a lot of gaps here. But we did create an 86-point sell-off here, which obviously doubled the size of the gap. So what we can do here is if the market doesn't sell off enough in the next 5 minutes, we could probably just look for a retracement into this gap as long as it's below 640 and maybe just take shorts into 575 and lower. Because obviously now that we're holding below 640 with selling pressure, then, obviously that just means that sellers are in control and the buys flipped back bearish. All right, but yeah, so far no trade today, guys. We almost got longs here. Unfortunately, it didn't hold enough for us to enter, so not much yet. Now, the only thing that we can really hope for here is if we hold below 640, we need a retracement into the upside so we can catch some lower pullbacks. So now it's wait another 5 minutes. All right. So yeah, very, very slow day, very patient needing day, but it's totally fine. As long as we get a setup, it'll be fine. Which we have. We just need to catch them. Yeah, we'll see how this bearish rally gap holds. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If the market ends up selling off lower into 575 before we get any retracements, I might just call it and come back later during the PM session once a clearer bias forms. Because once again, if the market is selling off while we're creating setups and we're not getting any retracements into the setups, why bother wasting our times trying to catch it if we're not going to get it? You know what I mean? So this is probably going to be the last setup that I watch for today, whether I decide if I want to stay cash for the morning or maybe catch something for now. This will be the last setup. So once again, for this setup, pretty much all I'm watching for. Actually, hold on. I actually didn't think about. Wait, what we could do here, guys, is we can maybe. I don't want to rush anything, but we can do both things off this setup here. We can either catch longs or shorts from the setup because the setup was created. Half of the fair value gap is bullish and half of the fair value gap is bearish. So if anything, if we pump up, we can catch an inverse. If we dump down, we can catch a retracement. I actually didn't think about that until now. I don't know how I didn't think about that. But yeah, this is once again, guys. This is gonna be the last setup that I watch for this morning. If it doesn't end up holding or if it doesn't end up retracing into it, I'll probably just call it and come back later for the day. All right, because obviously if none of our setups are getting retraced into or anything, then it's already assigned to maybe come back later. Yeah, we'll see. Because what we can do here is, look, we have a bearish gap here, and we're bearish currently because we're below 640. But there's a good chance where buyers can start stepping in here, since the market is a little bit oversold. There's a good chance where buyers can start stepping in here, hold back above 640, and then inverse this 5-minute bullish rally gap. You see what I mean? Or if we hold below 640, we get a little bit of buying pressure, retrace. Oh, my mouse died. Sweet. How can I show my mouse? Guys, one sec. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get my laptop charger. I'm back. Hold on, let me charge this laptop. I mean my mouse. We are dumping a little bit, so hopefully we don't just skip out on this setup. Hold up, guys. Let me charge my mouse really fast. Yeah, definitely a very good market today. I do like it. It's just unfortunately we haven't had any retracements for literally any setup to take today. That's a little bit annoying. So hopefully we don't set off too much. We're right next to 575 pip. We haven't taken it out, so there's still a chance where we can retrace back into the market. Hello? Bro. Oh, that's why. Hold up, guys, one more time, bro. There we go. Hold up. This kind of close in 10 seconds. Guys, I'll be. All right, I'm back. Guys, I connected my mouse to my laptop and it connected it to my laptop instead of charging it. Of course, this never happens until today when I'm about to get set up. And I'm try charging it one more time, guys. One sec. Come on. Okay, we're good. Oh, okay. Anyways, but yeah, let me see. Let me kind of prepare this real quick. Hold up, guys. Okay, so we're back in the gap. Let's see what we do here. Because okay, if we hold above 640, we can look for longs off the 5-minute inverse. And if we reject, we can look for, because now we're rejecting. Thing is, how much of a rejection do we want to see in order for us to actually get the longs? Getting shorts is going to be a pain because the price target is going to be in the way with the best risk reward. I'm just looking at shorts. I'm trying to plan something here real quick. Give me 1 second. The price is going to have to hold this trade for a little bit longer. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna try shorts here. I'm trying shorts just with the light size. We are getting a fair value gap projection. We do have room for lower, so I'm just gonna give it a shot with a very light size. If this setup doesn't end up holding, we could just quickly flip into longs. But yeah, I got filled at 600. I'm just gonna try it out and just target 575 with the light size. I can't wait too long because then we're gonna get a very late entry. But yeah, guys, once again, I entered shorts at 600. With the light size to target 575, in which we just hit right now. All right, guys, I'm scaling. Just a quick scalp. Guys, I scaled. I know it's not the craziest price target, but I scaled. Just for a quick, secure scalp. But yeah. And then I'm in one more runner, which is a little bit red right now. Because I couldn't really move my stop loss in time. I had to alert this trade. But yeah, quick scalp on this one, guys. Not too bad. I'm probably just gonna put my stop loss at the high of this candle because I don't really care about this last runner. So maybe just buy one stop there. At the high. So I'll put my stop. I'm dragging my stop loss here. This is just more of a quick scalp, guys. For those shorts. I had to react really fast to it into the 575 level. Now, if we do end up reversing from this 575 level, we can also look for longs very quickly after. Remember, guys, I sized down this trade. I wasn't really willing to risk too much on it. Just mainly for like a quick scalp. I am still in my last runner, so if we continue going lower, we can always hold it for lower as well. But we did hit 575 as the price target, so I did scale there. Nothing crazy in terms of profits, but it's something. You know what I mean? Better than nothing. But yeah. Now, if we do end up reversing here, which I'm not really too worried about, but if we do end up reversing here on the last runner, once again, guys, I have my stop loss placed at 632. So if I get stopped out, I'm still green. Right? But if we do end up reversing off 575, we can then quickly flip our bias back to bullish into the inverse and then catch long shortly after. So we can get a 2-in-1 trade pretty much off the same kind of area. So if anything, let me prepare my longs if I do end up entering. No. Bro, I posted the alert to the wrong channel, bro. You can't be dead ass right now. Nah, it's still public. But bro, I posted it to the wrong. Let me quickly just retype this. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Guys, if you get a notification, ignore it. I posted it to the wrong channel. I posted it on setups to watch instead of futures alerts. My apologies. Yeah, guys, I'm still in. Bro, this is what happens when I'm doing everything so fast and all over the place, bro. But yeah, there you go. I was about to say, I'm in longs? What? I don't know. There you go. But yeah. Hopefully you guys got a quick scalp of this trade alongside with me. I know it was very quick. and not crazy in points, but I mean, it was kind of like a giveaway setup. You know what I mean? We were chasing to the fair value gap. We're still bearish. We had room for lower into 575. We got the rejection. We entered and we quickly hit 575. So kind of like a giveaway trade. You know what I mean? So yeah, now, like I said, I am in one more contract here in my last runner. I'm going to be holding this last contract for 530 if we can see that. And I moved my stop loss from the top of this fair value gap all the way down to the top of this fair value gap. I mean, this rejection here, which is at 632. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm in one more runner. No matter what happens, I am ending the day green. I did size light, so I'm not gonna make anything crazy today. I'm not expecting to make anything crazy today. But if we do go lower, you know, it can definitely make us some extra lunch money towards this payout that I'm actually about to request very soon. For those that don't know, I'm about to request a $25,000 payout. We have had an amazing week this week. Very nice green trades. For me, I made about this trade, $2,200 on the week per account. So not bad. So about 20K. Not bad at all. 22K actually, if you multiply it by 10. So I'm about to request a very fat payout very, very soon. Maybe today or tomorrow. So yeah. Yeah, if we can go lower here, if you guys haven't scaled, you know, obviously you can, well, you should have at 575. It was a pretty easy target there. It was the level that we talked about, you know, for quite some time there. But yeah, very, very quick scalp. I am hoping to get a little bit more points behind this trade, so it actually looks good. But honestly, green is green no matter what, so I'll take it. All right, now, one thing I will say is that, yes, the market is slightly oversold. So for us to go even lower is not anything that I'm expecting, to be honest. Now that we took out 575, honestly, I'm kind of expecting a reversal soon. So hopefully you guys are in runners with me and at least go break even or at least move your stop loss to this wick up here so you don't risk going red. But yeah, I personally don't believe that the market goes lower. Bro, I mean, we have taken out so many levels of liquidity this morning and we haven't taken out a single level of liquidity to the upside. There's no way we continue going lower. So yes, I'm in one more runner for short. I am expecting it to get stopped out up here. I'm still going to be green on the trade, so I don't care. And if we do end up reversing, I might look for longs off this inverse up here. Like literally right after this runner gets out. Because once again, we're getting buying pressure, we're getting a D-wall sweep, we have an inverse up here, and we have room for higher, which is what I want to catch. So once again, once this runner gets out, I'm probably gonna switch quickly into longs. Because that was my main game plan that I wanted to see. Just these shorts, like I said, they were kind of like a giveaway. You know what I mean? They're kind of like a giveaway because once again, we were chasing to the gap, we rejected, we had room for lower. Okay, yeah, guys, I got out. I got out of this trade. So now that I got out of this trade with the buying pressure kicking in, we can quickly flip into longs off this 5-minute inverse if we have enough buying pressure and then just catch longs instead. And then I feel like the longs could definitely be a way better trade to the upside because once again, we have so much more room for higher. We haven't taken out a single level of liquidity to the upside. So I'll probably just do the same sizing, so five micros, because once again, I'm not trying to risk too much of my profits for this week. But we could definitely look for something like this. And then we can have like more of like a 50-point stop since the market is moving a little bit crazy. So 24,607. And then we can just look for longs off this inverse instead. Because remember, we're bullish now off of this D-roll sweep at the target that we hit for shorts at 575. So I'll probably just do the same exact sizing, 5 micros, and maybe just get a quick extra scalp there. Battery's low. Wait, what? Oh, it's charging. It's charging. But yeah, let's see. Remember, guys, this is going to be our second trade here. If we can catch longs here. Now, I do have to use the bathroom. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So hopefully you get longs here and I can go real quick. But hopefully you guys caught that scalp. It was a pretty quick trade. Like I said, it was pretty much a giveaway off that trade. But yeah, let's see. Like I said, I'm personally going to be sizing light on this one. Again, I'm not trying to risk any of my profits for this week. Today, once again, I personally had an amazing week with all the trades that I've alerted. So I'm just not trying to throw it away with one, tilting day. So this will probably be my last trade for today, guys. All right, this one right here. Yeah, let's see what we can do here. And ES is also interesting the gap with a sweep as well. So ES is also pretty bullish. We just need the buyers to really step in with enough buying pressure for us to be at least interested in these longs here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now let's see if we can enter longs here. Let's see if we hold above it for some time and then we take it. Okay. No. Hold on, NQ. Hold the fuck on. Okay, guys, I'm going to try longs here. I'm in longs. I got a little bit of a late entry, so I'm going to move my stop loss a little bit more. So maybe do like the bottom of the gap here. So 628. Okay, guys, I am in NQ longs. I got filled at 684. 684, 684, 684, 684, 684. I am in NQ longs. I got filled at 684, 684, 684. And I'm gonna retype this alert real quick, guys. 1 sec. And my stop loss is gonna be placed at 628. 628, 628, 628. 628 is my stop loss. 628 is my stop loss. I repeat, 628 is my stop loss. I'll say it again. 628 is my stop loss. I got filled at 684. NQ longs. Now, why are we pumping like this exactly? I do not fucking know. Am I gonna question it? No. Yeah, now, let me see if I can better my stop loss a little bit. I did get a late entry, so I don't want to be working with anything crazy. But yeah, with this inverse and all that buying pressure, the longs look very, very good there. Hopefully it holds, because remember, we did get like a random pump here, so hopefully it's not like a news pump where the market pumps and then dumps again, because then that can definitely mess us up a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. We're rejecting a little bit here. Worst case, we can always look for a re-entry here if it was a news pump, which let me double check, because we are rejecting kind of big here. Because worst case, like I said, if the market slows down, we could just look for a re-entry off those longs again. Ooh. Guys, it was Trump news. Trump administration set to suspend Jones Act to tame oil price. Uh-oh. Well, let's see what happens. Hopefully the market doesn't reject too big here, because once again, we're back below the gap. Like I said, if I have to re-enter with a better entry, then I will. As long as we hold above 757. But yeah, hopefully this inverse holds here. Yeah, guys, I got stopped out. I got stopped out. It seems like we just entered with news. Very unfortunate. It happens. Not too mad about it. But yeah, guys, I did get stopped out of this trade. I got stopped out. Now, if we do end up bouncing back up into this inverse, I might look for a re-entry just after the news kind of slows down a little bit. But yeah, I got stopped out, guys. Very unfortunate with that trade. Just we took it as news came in. Now, remember, the buy still remains bullish. So if the market can bounce back up into a better entry, because remember, we entered up here as the market literally pumped there. So if we can find a better entry, like around the 560s, the 657 area, maybe longs can work again, just with a more calm price action. So I definitely am open to retaking longs soon. We just gotta see how this holds. Remember, the bias remains bullish as long as we're able to hold above 575. So if we can bounce back up here, back into 578-ish, I'll look for a re-entry, which will be my last trade for the day. It's the same setup. Just obviously we entered based off news, so obviously that kind of went a little bit south. Let me check the news real quick. Yeah, it seems like the market dumped here because Trump administration set to suspend Jones Act to tame oil price, which obviously takes a big hit on NQ as well. So what up? Let's see if we can reverse the back green. Because remember, this setup still remains valid. Obviously, we kind of need to inverse this gap in this candle. If not, then no, we can't really retake that. But yeah, we'll see. Both ES and NQ kind of inverse these gaps here, but unfortunately, they did not end up holding due to that news that came out, unfortunately, which kind of made the market pump and then dump. Which kind of faked us out with that entry with a lot of buying pressure. So good setup, just very bad conditions. But yeah, like I said, let's see if we can reverse this back into the 660s pretty much, so we can find another re-entry into the longs, and then we try it again. But if not, then we're going to probably come back during the PM session to probably get one more trade there. Just off what entry would that be from? I'll figure it out later if that's going to be the case. Yeah, let's see if we can re-enter off these longs here. I'm really hoping that we can get a little bit more buying pressure. Obviously, not buying pressure like this, but maybe buying pressure like this, so we can pump back up into the 660s, and then we look for a re-entry off this. Once again, this setup still looks valid to me, especially with the buys being bullish. We just kind of entered off news, so you know, it kind of did go a little bit south there. But it's okay because we can find another setup as long as the volume stays pretty alive. So I'm not too worried. Yep. Okay, so the buying pressure is kicking in now. It's trying to kick in. So once again, if we can go ahead and break past 660, I will consider taking longs again, as long as obviously the volume looks a little bit more calm from the previous candle. Yeah, we need to inverse this gap in the next 2 minutes. Because if not, that entry is going to be a little bit of a pain. Also inverse that 50-minute as well. So very unfortunate that setup didn't end up holding. I'm just not. I'm hoping we don't go lower back into a bearish bias below 575. There's no way, because then, nah. I mean, if that happens, then getting a setup will definitely have to be during the PM session, like a newer setup. But I really, really want the markets to pump here. I really want to have a bullish bias. Once again, guys, the reason I'm so bullish, at least right now, is once again, coming into market open, all we've done today is retrace, dump, retrace, dump, retrace, dump. So it gets to the point where we take out so many levels of liquidity to the point where sellers shouldn't have interest. And then buyers really gain all that control here, which is what I thought we saw here. But it turned out that we just entered off some Trump news from some oil act or something. So we kind of got a little bit faked out there. Now, if we would have gotten a little bit of a better entry, then we could have definitely taken way better profits. But unfortunately, we didn't. It happened way too quick, so we got an entry. Kind of, how many points did we see on the trade, actually? Oh, yeah, no, we saw 35 points. Nothing crazy. So, I wanted to at least target these highs up here, So, yeah, very unfortunate with that trade, but it's totally fine. Because if we get another re-entry here, if buyers step in, hopefully soon, then we could most likely just retake it into these highs, just with way more calm price action, to the point where, we don't just dump randomly just because of some news that comes out. Yeah, once again, guys, for the news that came out, for those wondering, it was a high impact news, it seems like, from Walter Bloomberg. And it says here, Trump administration set to suspend Jones Act to tame oil price. And obviously that's when price kind of dumped there. It's literally same exact time. As you guys see, we pumped and dumped. So yeah. Hopefully we just get cleaner price in this candle here into the inverse, so we can just retake it. All right. And this will be my last trade for the week, pretty much. All right, guys. So yeah, remember, I'm not trading tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going to be working on some YouTube videos for you guys. All right, so yeah, this will be my complete last trade for the week. All right. Again, I am super bullish. I do want the markets to go higher. I just need to find the momentum for it. If anything, we can just target this new high instead as well, since it was a high impact news candle, or like a Trump candle. We could probably get it here. So let me just, because it will be like what, like a 60-point price target? Yeah, 63 points. I just need a little bit more buying pressure than what we have right now. This can't really. worked too good. Like if we get longs off this here, this candle is not too good. We just need a little bit more buying. I would appreciate it for the longs. I'm really hoping that the volume doesn't die down here. Because if not, yeah, we're gonna have to trade something during the PM. Which is fine as well. Obviously, there's gonna be a little bit more waiting. Yeah, we're not really doing much right now. Obviously, I'm not gonna be forcing a trade with this type of volume. Hell no. Yeah, no, it kind of looks like we're kind of chopping here a little bit. So we might have to make a new setup here if we want to get longs. Ugh, the whole thing that we've been waiting for all morning. I mean, no, I was gonna say maybe we have something after 1 minute, but no, nothing. Because I really want to catch longs into his bullish buys. There's just not much I could really take here. And I don't want to have to work with this entry here anymore because we kind of chopped through it already. So literally any imbalance here is kind of out of the picture already. So yeah, we might have to come back later back on live. Not alert, back on live during the PM session to possibly catch another better setup if it forms. Because right now we're kind of just left with a little bit of chop here. Because like I said, I would love to take longs off this inverse here. I can't anymore. I mean, this setup is kind of out of the picture. The whole imbalance got filled and more. Right? We just got a little bit of a late entry because obviously it literally pumped through it. So by the time we reacted and everything, we entered up here. So yeah. It looks choppy. Yeah, 100%, 100%. And even if it wasn't choppy, you don't have too much of a setup to really work with here anymore. Unless we get one all the way up here, which is where our price targets are at. So I'm gonna have to come up with something here because, like I said, I know that we can catch longs today, and I know that we're most likely gonna continue going higher. I have my reasons to believe that. It's just where can we enter those longs? That's the question. Because yeah, we can do it off this here. It just won't be a perfect setup. It'll give us the same entry that we wanted before. But I mean, if the buying pressure is there, then that can possibly support it. But for now, this chop, no, you cannot trade this. PM meaning usually, yeah, like like 1, 2, pretty much any time during the PM is when a trade can pop up. Just right now, obviously, it's about to be the PM. It's 11, so in 1 hour. So by the time that we form a trend, get volume, form a setup, and everything, it does take some time. So I'm thinking about getting off for a second and then maybe coming back on live later today, same way how we did last time. Because once again, there's not much I can really take here. I would love to take longs here. I just don't really think it's gonna be the best setup, especially with the supportive volume. It doesn't really look all that good. The shorts worked out. Unfortunately, the price tag was right around the corner, so we couldn't really make much of it. And then we got longs here, but kind of like whatever. We just entered a little bit too late as Trump was saying his thing, and then which is why the whole pump and dump little situation here happened. But yeah, I might have to wait for a brand new setup to form here. I mean, shit, if we dump down, then I could probably work with something new. But right now in the time, we're kind of just starting to chop a little bit here. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the market, we're already approaching lunch hour, which is pretty normal for chop, and the market has already been sold off quite a bit. So we got a little bit of the sell off, but not anything crazy. But I do want to catch the pump up. I know I can catch it today. So once again, guys, for the next trade that I end up catching, it'll most likely be longs. Just not if I do alert longs, I'm probably very confident in it. Yeah, for now, it kind of just seems like the market is going to chop for a little bit until lunch hour ends. So yeah, I mean, how many points are we averaging per candle? I mean, 36. So yeah, we could probably form a setup soon. Maybe just not in this range. Yeah, I mean, look at that. So if anything, we could probably work with another inverse now that we have a fair value gap here instead of using this one that's already filled. So I'll probably just stay on for a few more minutes to see how this setup forms. Maybe, you know, so I just don't get off for no reason and then have to get back on 5 minutes later if a setup forms. I just don't want to be trading in this area. Hey, if we can hold it, then maybe we can get one more thing there. So I'll give it like, what, 5 more minutes. No, about 6 more minutes. See how we do. Now, the thing is, if we go back down below 575, I'm not trying to catch shorts again. I mean, if I have to, if that's what the trend is going to be, then sure. But bro, the market is, we've already sold off nearly 300 points today. How do we go lower? You know what I mean? Like, what news is going on that we go lower? But we'll see. Because right now, we're trying to form a gap here, but it's not really holding too much. It's kind of closing in 40 seconds. See if we can close this full candle for an imbalance. If not, then we're going to have to wait a while. Maybe for the PM sessions to start, and then we go from there. But like I said, I'm going to give it a few more minutes, see what we do, and then maybe just get off a little bit. How you been, bro? I'm chilling, bro. I'm green as fuck on the week, bro. I'm happy with it. Yeah, obviously right now I'm a little bit red on the day, but so right now my P&L for the week is looking like what? I think 1.8k profit. So I'm gonna try to get one more trade into the longs today because, like I said, I really want to catch longs. But obviously not in this price action currently. So I'm just waiting for the market to try to pump up here. Hopefully it does it in the next few minutes before I get off. If not, I'll come back later, back on stream, back on live to catch longs if we get the setup that we want to see. But for now, bro, kind of just a little bit choppy, bro. So we're just waiting here. PM lives are goaded. Yeah, bro. Hopefully you get good price action just like these last few days during the PM. Right now we're kind of chopping up a little bit, so it does worry me a little bit. But who knows? Maybe we can break out of this structure soon, and you know maybe get a nice gap that we can trade off of. That's good, man. Are we getting the video Friday or Saturday? The video should be out by tomorrow. Remember, guys, this is not a video that you guys want to miss out on. Seriously, this video is going to be very, very good, very, very informative. All right, on drawing liquidity and how banks work, and how you can use that concept to know where the market's going to go to. Obviously, not always, but just so you have an idea of where the market's going to go to, as maybe the retail market thinks otherwise. All right, so I've been trading for the last few years, and it's something that I've always taught. But yeah, no, we're probably gonna chop here. Been taking the last few weeks. Nothing. Just sitting back and watching, understanding trades better, bro. Bro, the markets have been rough still. They're getting slightly better, I guess, but not consistent enough. Like, I'm not like today's market, although we didn't get too many trades or too many crazy trades, today's market was really, really nice. I like today's market. I like the movement on it. So hopefully this becomes the new normal again. Just unfortunately, we couldn't really get any retracements. And I mean, we got one for a quick scalp there into the price target down here, but the longs here, we ended up getting caught with the whole Trump thing. So that's why the market kind of just pumped unexpectedly and then dumped unexpectedly. So a little bit unlucky on that. It's kind of like whatever, but yeah. So we're hopefully this is becoming the new normal. Not the Trump, but it's becoming the new normal. Hey David, do you know why the new Apex accounts don't show up in the active subscriptions on Apex? They should. They should be there. If anything, give it a few minutes. If you just bought it, give it a few minutes. Sometimes the system does have to register it. Or if not, then maybe just contact them. Remember, they have a new support on the website, so it's a lot faster now to get in contact with them. So try asking them because they're the ones that are they're the ones that are able to manage that. They also show up in the active subs. That's weird. I mean, they are subscriptions, so I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, guys, there is not much that we can really take here. No matter what bias we have, the market is approaching in its choppy range. So I'm probably just gonna get off, take a little bit of a break for like an hour, maybe wait for a new setup to form, and then once a new setup forms, guys, I will get back on live to catch up with you guys, and obviously flip this day from red to green because today we should be green. All right, guys. So yeah, once again, I'm gonna try to look for another chance at longs today. If I have to look for shorts today, then I guess, but I don't really feel too confident in shorts, especially with us already taking out so many levels of liquidities. So maybe not. But I'm gonna take a little bit of a break off the markets, get some fresh air outside, and I will get back on live once I find another setup. All right, guys, if that's cool with you guys. Now we should be green. We will be green. No, we will. Trust me. The next trade I will get, guys, I'll make sure that it's perfect. Well, to be fair, both of the trades that we caught today were perfect. Just one worked out, and then the other one, this happened. So it looked good. It played out technically from our entry. We just got a little bit of a later entry, so we couldn't scale in time. So yeah. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break off the charts. Give me like 1 hour, or pretty much whenever a setup forms, if a setup forms. And then I'll get back on. We'll trade it live, and we go from there. All right, guys. So yeah, leave your notifications on because I'll be getting on later. All right, guys. I'm just gonna take a little bit of a breather and wait for the market to get out of this choppy range and choose a new direction, whether it wants to go lower or maybe reverse back into the upside. All right, guys. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'll be back later. All right, guys. I'll see you guys then. All right. Peace out, guys. Peace. And YouTube, guys, hopefully you guys were able to enjoy the stream. Unfortunately, we did end up a little bit red right now. I'm not getting off the markets yet, and I'm not calling it a day yet. I will be trading back in the premium in maybe like an hour once the market picks up its volume. But for now, I'm gonna let the market do its own thing. I'm not trying to watch paint dry in the market chop. So I'm gonna wait for the market to break out of its range, form a new setup. And depending from that, whatever we do from that setup, I'll get another trade for the premium. All right. So if you guys do want to get a second trade, or a third trade, if you guys are on our PC server, you guys can get it there. If not, you guys can always join my server for the fastest alerts and for real-time live trading. So you guys can see the next trade that we catch today. All right, guys. Now, tomorrow I will not be live trading. Remember, tomorrow I will be recording my YouTube video, and I'll also be posting on a new YouTube video. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'll see you guys hopefully in the Discord. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. All right, guys. I'll let you guys know what trades we end up catching during the PM session. I promise you guys, we will be green today. All right, we've had an amazing week. First red trade of the week. So nothing crazy. All right, guys. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace, guys.